Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Touch Base Tuesday. We're glad that you joined us, and today I want to talk about the word excuse or excuses. And that's a common thing to when we're late, we have an excuse why that we're late. I remember back in the day where the old adage was to tell the teacher the reason why that they didn't have the homework, that the dog ate it. And it goes on and on and on. But I want to talk to you today about a particular man that I found interesting, and his name is Jeremiah. And Jeremiah was in a very difficult time in his life, but yet God was assuring him that he had called him and that he was actually going to speak through him. But when you look at Jeremiah, the first chapter, I want to read a few verses today and set this thing up today just to see, it's not just Jeremiah though, but it's us. And when God speaks to us and He asks us to do certain things, we always have excuses. But look at the word of the Lord today in the book of Jeremiah. In the 4th verse, it said, "Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." And you look like you would think that that would be enough to be assured that, okay, God, if you call me and if you ordained me, then God, I'm good to go. But it goes on to say in verse number 6, and I found this interesting. This is Jeremiah's response. "Then said I, Lord God," with an exclamation mark, "Behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child." Right out of the gate, after God told him that he was anointed, he would be anointed, he would be used of him, but yet he gave that excuse like we always do. I'm just not the person you think that I am. It goes on to say, "But the Lord spoke back to him." And God, to me, is so kind to us. When we give Him excuses, He tries to be able to explain it to us or to make us aware of who we are. He tries to make us aware that we are a child of God and that we don't have to lean on our own understanding, but that we can trust Him, and God can give us the direction we need. He can give us the answers we need, the words that we need. In other words, it's all in Him, as the song says. In verse 8, he says, "Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord." Verse 9, and this is the interesting part, and this is what caught my attention. "Then the Lord put forth His hand and touched my mouth, and the Lord said unto me, Behold, I have put words in thy mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant." Wow, that's a lot of things. But I want to go back to that verse when he started saying I. That's where we get in trouble. It's the I-itis disease is what I would call it, is that I can't do this and I can't do this. But God was saying, I think after this, He was saying, good. That's exactly where I want you, to where that it's not me that's going to do that, but it's God that is working through us. And we live in an age and a time to where everything has an excuse, but we need to eliminate the excuses. George Washington said this, "It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one." And I think that's so true. I was going to make an excuse the other day, and I'm thinking, I was texting somebody back the reason why I hadn't texted them back, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to make a whole battery of excuses. I'm just going to say, this is where we're going to meet, and this is what time we're going to meet. And I think today that all of us, when we follow this pattern here, that when we are obedient to the voice of God, God will use us in so many different ways. In closing today, I wanted to just go through several of different different men and different ones that had excuses. And we looked at Adam, and he, right off the bat, when God confronted them, they both, Adam and Eve, had excuses. But did that work? No, it didn't. And then we find another one. We find King Saul, that he was appointed king, but yet he was doing things that was displeasing to God, and he gave excuses. And next thing we know, the kingdom is rendered from him. And then we find that Moses, when he was asked by God, he said, I want you to go to Pharaoh. And right out of the gate, again, Moses started to make excuses. That I'm slow to speak, Lord, and I'm this and that and the other. But we realize how that when the thing started, that God used Moses to be able not only to speak to Pharaoh, but to see the deliverance of the people out of Egypt, out of bondage. So thank you today for watching, and I pray that you will start every day without an excuse and saying, God, I just want you to work through me and speak through me each and every day. God bless you, and we will see you next week.